The unseen power that shapes the heavens and the earth is always working in your favor. There is no obstacle so great, no valley so deep, no storm so fierce that the divine cannot lead you through it. For God, in His infinite wisdom, always makes a way where there seems to be none. What you perceive as a dead end is merely the beginning of His perfect plan unfolding in your life. You are not separate from the Creator. His essence dwells within you, a spark of infinite potential and boundless love. When you align your mind with faith and surrender your fears, you activate this divine power. The seeming barriers in your path are illusions created by doubt. They crumble not through struggle, but through trust. When the Israelites stood before the Red Sea, with Pharaoh's army closing in behind them, it seemed there was no escape. Yet Moses did not waver. He stood firm in the knowledge that the God who brought them there would deliver them. And with a simple command, the waters parted, revealing a path through the impossible. This is not just a story of ancient times, it is a demonstration of the power that resides in faith, a power available to you now. Begin by seeing the way in your mind. Close your eyes and imagine the barriers in your life dissolving. Do not concern yourself with how it will happen. That is not your work. Your work is to believe, to trust, and to remain steadfast in your vision. Feel the joy of the outcome as if it has already come to pass. Walk in the assurance that God is making a way, even now, though your physical eyes may not yet perceive it. Consider the words of Scripture, I am the way, the truth, and the life. This is not a distant promise, but a present reality. God's way is not confined to human logic or reason. It transcends all understanding, moving mountains and opening doors where none existed. What seems impossible to man is simple for God. Release your burdens into His hands. Trust that His timing is perfect, His methods are flawless, and His love for you is unshakable. The more you resist the urge to figure it all out, the more swiftly the way is revealed. Rest in the knowledge that the Creator of all things is orchestrating every detail of your life with precision and care. You are not forgotten, nor are you abandoned. Every tear you have cried, every prayer you have whispered, every hope you have held is seen and heard. Even now, the forces of heaven are moving on your behalf. What you desire is already prepared for you. All that is required is your unwavering belief. Stand tall in the face of adversity, knowing that the path will emerge. When you trust fully, the way becomes clear. It may not look like what you expected, but it will be exactly what you need. God is the ultimate architect, and His design for your life is perfect. So hold fast to your faith. Walk boldly, knowing that the one who created the universe is guiding your steps. The way is already made. God will make a way for you. Trust Him, and you will see it. The infinite power of God, the Creator of all things, is always at work in your favor. This divine presence, which sustains the stars in their courses and breathes life into every living being, is not a distant force or an abstract concept. It is alive, aware, and deeply invested in your journey. In moments when life feels overwhelming and the challenges seem insurmountable, this truth becomes your anchor. God's power is not limited by your circumstances, your resources, or even your understanding. It works tirelessly, invisibly, and with unmatched precision to bring about the highest good in your life. Too often, we measure our circumstances by what we can see or control. We assess possibilities based on our own strength, forgetting that we are not alone in this journey. The Creator who formed the heavens and the earth is the same power working within you, shaping the outcomes of your life. This divine power is not bound by the constraints of time or the limitations of human logic. It operates in ways beyond our comprehension, weaving together events, people, and opportunities in a perfect symphony of grace. Consider the times in your life when you faced difficulties that felt impossible to overcome. Perhaps there was a moment when you didn't know how you would make it through a financial crisis, a health scare, or a heartbreak so profound it felt like it would never end. Yet here you are, a testament to the fact that God was working behind the scenes even then. The doors that opened, the unexpected help that arrived, the inner strength that emerged when you needed it most, all of these were signs of the divine power that is always at work for your benefit. This power does not falter or hesitate. It does not grow weary or lose its way. Even in moments when you feel forgotten or abandoned, it remains constant. What appears as silence or delay is often God's careful orchestration of something far greater than you could imagine. Trusting in this requires a shift in perspective, a willingness to let go of fear and to embrace the unseen. It is in this surrender that you begin to see the evidence of God's hand guiding your path. Faith is the key that unlocks this divine power. Faith is not merely a passive hope, it is an active belief that God's promises are true, even when the evidence around you seems to say otherwise. It is standing firm in the knowledge that God is not limited by the size of the challenge before you. What seems impossible to human eyes is nothing to the one who created the universe. When you anchor yourself in faith, you align with this divine power, allowing it to flow freely and work miracles in your life. This is not a power that waits for perfection. You do not have to earn God's favor or prove your worthiness. His power is a gift freely given out of love. Even when you stumble, when doubts creep in, or when you feel far from Him, His power remains constant. It is not dependent on your feelings or circumstances. God's love and commitment to your well-being are unshakable. As you navigate life's challenges, remember that God's power is not only immense but also deeply personal. It knows you intimately, understanding your needs, your dreams, and your struggles. It works in ways tailored specifically to you, guiding your steps and opening doors that no one else can close. When you feel overwhelmed, take a moment to pause and reconnect with this truth. Breathe deeply and remind yourself that you are never alone, never unsupported. The same power that moves mountains is moving on your behalf. God's power often manifests in ways that are subtle, almost imperceptible at first. A chance encounter, a sudden insight, or a small act of kindness can set in motion events that transform your life. Pay attention to these moments, for they are reminders that you are seen, loved, and guided. Even the challenges you face serve a purpose. They are not punishments but opportunities for growth, designed to strengthen your faith and refine your character. When viewed through the lens of trust, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone toward your destiny. This divine power is always working in your favor, not just for your survival but for your flourishing. It seeks to elevate you, to bring you into alignment with the fullness of life that God intends for you. Trust in this power with your whole heart, knowing that it is not confined by what you see or understand. Even when the way forward seems unclear, God's power is already creating a path, paving the way for blessings beyond anything you could imagine. You are not separate from the Creator. This truth, when fully understood, transforms the way you see yourself and the world around you. The divine essence, the power that created the universe, is not something distant, unreachable, or external to you. It is within you, woven into the very fabric of your being. You carry within yourself the spark of God's infinite potential and boundless love. This realization is not just comforting, it is revolutionary. It shifts you from a mindset of limitation and dependency to one of empowerment and co-creation. When you begin to see yourself as one with the Creator, your perspective on life changes. Challenges no longer seem insurmountable and setbacks lose their sting. Instead of feeling like life happens to you, you recognize that life happens through you. You become a participant in the divine unfolding of your journey, an active co-creator with God. This awareness invites you to embrace your inherent power, not a power of ego or self-interest, but a power rooted in love, trust, and alignment with divine purpose. The divine essence within you is not just a poetic idea, it is a living truth. It means that the qualities of God, creativity, wisdom, strength, and compassion are also present within you. They are not something you need to acquire, but something you need to awaken. Too often, we look outward for solutions, validation, and strength, forgetting that the very source of all we seek resides within us. When you align your thoughts and actions with this truth, you unlock a wellspring of resources that can guide you through any situation. This oneness with the Creator is not conditional. It does not depend on your achievements, your circumstances, or even your beliefs. It simply is. Just as the sun shines on all, so does God's presence dwell in everyone. Your task is not to earn this connection, but to recognize and embrace it. This requires a shift from looking outward to looking inward. The world often distracts us with its noise. pulling our attention to external problems and solutions. But the real power lies within, in the quiet space where your soul meets the divine. Faith and surrender are key to activating this inner divine essence. Faith is the belief in things unseen, the assurance that God's power within you is real and ready to work on your behalf. Surrender, on the other hand, is the letting go of fear, doubt, and the need to control. It is the act of trusting that the divine within you knows the way, even when you do not. Together, faith and surrender create a powerful alignment with God's purpose, allowing His essence within you to shine brightly. This connection to the Creator is not meant to be hidden or suppressed. It is meant to be lived, expressed, and shared. Every time you choose love over fear, hope over despair, or forgiveness over resentment, you reflect God's nature. You become a channel through which His light shines into the world. This is not a grand or dramatic process. It is often found in the small, everyday moments: how you treat others, how you speak to yourself, and how you approach life's challenges. Each of these moments is an opportunity to align with the divine within you. When you understand that you are one with the Creator, you also begin to see others differently. You recognize the divine spark in every person, even in those who challenge or hurt you. This doesn't mean you condone harmful behavior, but it allows you to respond from a place of compassion rather than judgment. You realize that just as God's essence is within you, it is also within them, even if it is obscured by pain, fear, or ignorance. This awareness fosters a deeper sense of connection and unity with all of creation. The power of this divine essence is most evident when life feels uncertain or overwhelming. In those moments when you feel weak or lost, it is not an external rescue you need, but an internal awakening. You do not need to search for strength, because the strength of the Creator is already within you. You do not need to seek wisdom, because the wisdom of the divine is already accessible in the stillness of your heart. When you quiet your mind and listen, you will hear the gentle guidance of God, reminding you of who you are and what is possible. Your oneness with the Creator is a source of endless reassurance. It means that you are never truly alone, never truly powerless, and never without hope. The same power that created the stars, calmed the seas, and raised the mountains is alive within you. It is a power that can heal wounds, open doors, and create miracles. Trusting in this truth allows you to move through life with a sense of peace and purpose, knowing that whatever you face, you do so with the full backing of the divine. This understanding of your connection to God is not something to grasp with the mind alone. It is something to feel, to embody, and to live. It requires faith, patience, and practice. The more you nurture this awareness, the more natural it becomes. You begin to see life not as a series of random events, but as a beautifully orchestrated journey, designed to bring you closer to the fullness of your divine potential. And as you walk this path, you carry within you the profound assurance that you are, and always will be, one with the Creator. Faith is a force that transcends the boundaries of human understanding, transforming the seemingly impossible into reality. It is not a passive wish or a fleeting hope, but a deep, unwavering conviction in the unseen. Faith sees beyond the limitations of the present moment, beyond the obstacles and uncertainties that cloud our vision. It draws upon the infinite power of God, aligning our thoughts, emotions, and actions with divine possibilities. In this alignment, the impossible becomes achievable, the invisible becomes manifest, and the unattainable comes within reach. When life presents challenges that seem insurmountable, faith becomes your anchor. It grounds you in the truth that God's power is greater than any difficulty you face. Fear and doubt may whisper that your dreams are out of reach or that the circumstances are too dire to overcome, but faith counters with a quiet, resolute voice with God. All things are possible. This truth is not just a comforting phrase, it is a spiritual law that operates beyond the constraints of logic or reason. Faith taps into this law, creating a bridge between the seen and the unseen, the finite and the infinite. Faith is not blind optimism. It does not deny the existence of challenges or pretend that life is without hardship. Instead, it acknowledges the difficulties while affirming that they do not have the final say. Faith shifts your focus from the problem to the solution, from the visible barriers to the invisible power that can overcome them. It is this shift in perspective that opens the door for miracles to occur. When you choose to believe, even in the face of adversity, you activate a divine process that works in ways beyond your comprehension. The transformative power of faith lies in its ability to reshape your inner world. Faith begins as a decision, a conscious choice to trust in God's promises, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. This choice may feel small at first, a flicker of hope amidst the shadows of doubt. But as you nurture it, faith grows stronger, illuminating your mind and heart with divine light. It replaces fear with courage, despair with hope, and uncertainty with assurance. This inner transformation is the foundation upon which external changes are built. Faith also requires action. It is not enough to believe passively, you must live as if your belief is already a reality. This means aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with the truth of God's power and promises. It means speaking words of faith, even when circumstances seem dire, and taking steps forward, even when the path ahead is unclear. These actions are not merely symbolic, they are powerful declarations of trust that resonate in the spiritual realm, setting into motion the forces of divine intervention. The Bible provides countless examples of how faith transforms the impossible into reality. Consider the story of David and Goliath. By human standards, David was no match for the giant warrior, but his faith in God's power gave him the courage to face the impossible. Armed with nothing but a sling and his unwavering belief, David defeated Goliath, proving that faith, not physical strength, is the true measure of victory. This story is not just a historical account, it is a timeless reminder that faith can overcome any obstacle, no matter how insurmountable it may appear. Another profound example is the story of the woman with the issue of blood, who believed that touching the hem of Jesus' garment would heal her. Her faith was so strong that it drew power from him, and she was healed instantly. This act of faith demonstrates that belief is not passive, it is an active force that reaches out and claims the blessings of God. Her story teaches us that even in the most desperate circumstances, faith can open the door to divine intervention. Faith is also deeply personal. It is not about convincing others or seeking external validation. It is about your relationship with God and your willingness to trust Him completely. This trust does not require a full understanding of how or when God will work. It simply requires the assurance that He will. Faith allows you to release the need for control and rest in the knowledge that God's timing and methods are perfect. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but of profound strength, for it acknowledges that God's wisdom far surpasses our own. As you cultivate faith, you will begin to notice changes in the way you approach life. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming will lose their power to intimidate you. You will face uncertainty with a sense of peace, knowing that God is working all things for your good. This does not mean that life will be free of difficulties, but it does mean that you will face them with a newfound resilience and confidence. Faith does not remove obstacles, it empowers you to overcome them. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where God is leading you. It is the key that unlocks the door to divine possibilities, allowing you to step into a reality shaped by God's promises. It is not bound by time, circumstances, or human limitations. Instead, it draws from the infinite reservoir of God's power, transforming the impossible into the inevitable. With faith, you are not merely hoping for a better future, you are partnering with the Creator to bring it into existence. And in this partnership, there is no limit to what can be achieved. Challenges and obstacles are a natural part of life, but they are not meant to break you. Instead, they serve as tools for growth, refinement, and transformation. When faced with difficulties, it is easy to see them as barriers to your progress, moments of delay, or evidence that your dreams are slipping away. Yet through a divine lens, these challenges are not interruptions, they are purposeful and essential steps in your journey toward becoming who you are meant to be. God does not place obstacles in your path to harm you, but to strengthen you. Each difficulty carries within it the seeds of growth, waiting for you to nurture them with faith, perseverance, and wisdom. Consider the metaphor of a seed planted in the ground. In the darkness of the soil, the seed may feel buried and forgotten, but this stage is vital for its transformation. Without this time of apparent stillness and struggle, it could never grow into the tree it was destined to become. In the same way, challenges are the soil from which your divine potential emerges. When you encounter adversity, it is natural to feel frustrated or defeated. However, it is in these very moments that God is calling you to rise higher. Every challenge is an invitation to deepen your faith, to rely not on your limited strength, but on God's infinite power. These moments test your trust in His plan and teach you to surrender control, allowing His wisdom to guide you. Through this process, you discover a resilience within yourself that you may not have realized existed. You begin to understand that strength is not the absence of difficulty, but the courage to face it with unwavering trust in God. Obstacles also serve to reveal what you truly value and what you are willing to fight for. They strip away distractions and surface-level desires, leaving behind only what is essential and meaningful. When faced with challenges, you are forced to clarify your intentions and refine your goals. This clarity is a gift, enabling you to move forward with greater purpose and alignment with God's will. Obstacles are not detours, they are redirections, steering you toward a path that better serves your highest good. Challenges often prepare you for the blessings that lie ahead. Just as a goldsmith refines precious metal through fire, so too does God use adversity to refine your character. The trials you face are shaping you into the person you need to be to handle the blessings and responsibilities of the future. Without these moments of preparation, you may not have the strength, wisdom, or humility required to fully embrace the opportunities that await you. The very obstacles you face today are crafting within you the capacity to sustain the success and abundance God has planned for you. It is also important to recognize that challenges are not meant to be faced alone. God walks with you through every trial, offering His guidance, comfort, and strength. The Bible reminds us the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit, Psalm 34:18. This promise assures you that even in your darkest moments, you are not abandoned. God's presence is with you, offering a peace that transcends understanding and a hope that cannot be extinguished. Your response to challenges matters deeply. While it is natural to feel fear or frustration, these emotions do not have to define your experience. Instead, you can choose to respond with faith, trusting that God is working all things for your good. This does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine. Rather, it means acknowledging your struggles while also affirming that they do not have the final say. By choosing faith over fear, you align yourself with God's power and open the door for His miracles to unfold. Challenges also teach you the value of community and connection. In times of difficulty, reaching out for support can be an act of faith. God often works through the people around you, sending help, encouragement, and wisdom when you need it most. This reminds you that you are part of a larger tapestry, woven together with others in a shared journey of faith and growth. Your challenges are not a solitary burden, they are an opportunity to experience the strength and beauty of collective support. Challenges invite you to trust in God's timing. When progress feels slow or obstacles seem insurmountable, it is easy to doubt that things will ever change. Yet, God's timing is perfect, even when it does not align with your expectations. He sees the bigger picture, knowing what is needed and when. Trusting in His timing requires patience and humility. But it also brings a deep sense of peace. You can rest in the assurance that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, according to His divine plan. The obstacles you face are not random or meaningless. They are purposeful, designed to draw you closer to God, to refine your character, and to prepare you for the blessings ahead. Each challenge is a reminder of your resilience, a testament to your faith, and a step on the path toward your destiny. With God by your side, no obstacle is too great, no trial too heavy, and no challenge insurmountable. Trust in Him, and He will turn every difficulty into an opportunity for growth, strength, and triumph. The power of speaking life into your circumstances is a profound spiritual principle that holds transformative potential. Words are not merely sounds we emit into the air, they are carriers of energy, intention, and creative force. They shape not only our internal world but also the reality we experience. When spoken with faith and conviction, words have the capacity to align our thoughts and emotions with the divine, unlocking pathways where none seem to exist. God created the universe through the spoken word. The Bible recounts in Genesis how God declared, "Let there be light," and light came into existence. This act demonstrates the creative power of words, a power that God has also imparted to us. Made in His image, we too possess the ability to use our words to create, transform, and manifest. While our words may not literally form galaxies, they do shape the course of our lives and influence the world around us in ways we often underestimate. When you speak words of faith, hope, and possibility, you activate spiritual laws that transcend human limitations. Speaking life is not about denying reality or pretending challenges do not exist. It is about declaring God's truth over your situation, even when that truth has not yet materialized. For example, saying, "God will make a way for me," or "this challenge will lead to my victory," is not just positive thinking, it is a declaration of faith. These words affirm your trust in God's promises and invite His power to work in your life. Words are also powerful tools for transforming your mindset. Speaking life helps reframe negative situations and challenges, allowing you to see them through the lens of faith. Instead of saying, "This is impossible," you can declare, "With God, all things are possible." This shift in language not only changes your perception but also influences your actions. When you speak as if victory is certain, you begin to act in alignment with that belief, creating momentum toward your desired outcome. The opposite is also true. Words of doubt, fear, or negativity can hinder your progress and block the blessings God has prepared for you. Phrases like "I can't" or "this will never work out" reinforce limiting beliefs and create barriers in your mind and spirit. The Bible warns us of the power of the tongue, stating, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue," Proverbs 18:21. This verse underscores the importance of choosing words that bring life, hope, and faith, rather than words that diminish or destroy. Speaking life also requires consistency. It is not a one-time act, but a continuous practice. Life's challenges can tempt you to waver, to revert to negative language or despair when things do not go as planned. However, faith-filled speech must persist even in the face of adversity. Your declarations are like seeds planted in the ground. They may not bear fruit immediately, but with patience and perseverance, they will grow and flourish in God's perfect timing. One of the most powerful aspects of speaking life is its ability to influence not just your own circumstances, but also the lives of those around you. Your words can uplift, encourage, and inspire others to trust in God's promises. When you speak words of life to someone who is struggling, you become a vessel of God's grace and hope. Your faith-filled declarations can spark faith in others, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own situation. Speaking life also involves gratitude. When you declare God's goodness and express thanks for His blessings, even those you have not yet seen, you shift your focus from lack to abundance. Gratitude amplifies your faith and draws you closer to God, fostering a deeper trust in His provision. It is not just about thanking God for what He has done, but also for what He is going to do, affirming your belief in His faithfulness. The Bible offers numerous examples of the power of speaking life. Consider the story of Ezekiel in the valley of dry bones. When God commanded him to prophesy over the bones, Ezekiel spoke life into what appeared to be a hopeless situation. As he declared God's words, the bones came together, flesh formed, and breath entered them, creating a vast army. This story illustrates that even in the most desolate circumstances, words spoken in faith can bring about transformation and restoration. In your own life, speaking life means declaring God's promises over your dreams, challenges, and relationships. It means affirming that He is working behind the scenes, even when you cannot see it. It means using your words to build up rather than tear down, to inspire hope rather than sow despair. When you align your speech with God's truth, you become an active participant in His creative process, co-laboring with Him to bring His plans to fruition. The power of your words is a divine gift, one that must be used wisely and intentionally. Each time you speak, you have the opportunity to choose life, to declare God's goodness, and to align yourself with His promises. By doing so, you invite His transformative power into your circumstances, paving the way for miracles, breakthroughs, and blessings that surpass anything you could imagine. Trust in this power and let your words be a reflection of the faith and hope that reside within you. Resting in God's promises is an act of profound faith, a declaration that you trust in His divine plan even when the world around you feels uncertain. To rest in His promises is not passive resignation, it is an active alignment of your heart, mind, and spirit with the unshakable truth of His word. It is a place of peace where you release the need to control every outcome and surrender to the perfect will of the one who holds the universe in His hands. At its core, resting in God's promises begins with knowing what He has promised. The Bible is filled with declarations of God's faithfulness, His provision, and His unchanging love. From the promise of peace in John 14:27 to the assurance of strength in Isaiah 40:31, His word is a treasure chest of truths designed to sustain and guide you through life's challenges. But these promises are not abstract concepts, they are personal and intimate, meant for you to claim and hold on to with confidence. Resting in these promises means making a deliberate choice to focus on what God has said rather than what your circumstances suggest. When life feels overwhelming, it is easy to be consumed by doubt, fear, or anxiety. But to rest in God's promises is to redirect your thoughts to His truth. It is to say, though I cannot see the way forward, I trust that God has already prepared it. This act of trust is not denial of reality, but a higher acknowledgement of the spiritual reality that God's power is at work in ways you may not yet understand. This rest is not something you achieve through sheer willpower, it comes through relationship. The more time you spend in prayer, meditation, and the study of God's Word, the more His promises become a living reality in your life. Prayer becomes a space where you can lay down your burdens, confess your fears, and realign yourself with His truth. In those moments of quiet communion, you are reminded that God is faithful, that His promises are yes and amen, and that He will never leave or forsake you. Resting in God's promises also involves releasing the burden of worry. Worry is a natural response to uncertainty, but it is ultimately unproductive. Jesus Himself addressed this in Matthew 6:27 when He asked, "Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life?" To rest in God's promises is to recognize that worry adds nothing to your life but robs you of peace. It is a conscious decision to hand over your concerns to God, trusting that He will work all things for your good, as promised in Romans 8:28. One of the most beautiful aspects of resting in God's promises is the peace it brings. This peace is not dependent on external circumstances but flows from a deep trust in God's sovereignty. Philippians 4:7 describes it as the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. This peace guards your heart and mind, allowing you to navigate life's uncertainties with calm assurance. It is the kind of peace that enables you to stand firm even when the storms of life rage around you. Resting in God's promises does not mean you will never face challenges or hardships. In fact, faith often grows strongest in the crucible of difficulty. But even in those moments, you can find rest by remembering that God's promises are not contingent on your circumstances. His love, provision, and faithfulness remain constant, whether you are on the mountaintop or in the valley. This truth becomes a source of comfort and strength, reminding you that no matter what you face, God is with you. This rest also requires patience. God's timing is often different from our own, and it can be challenging to wait when answers or breakthroughs seem delayed. But to rest in His promises is to trust that His timing is perfect, even when it does not align with your expectations. Isaiah 30:18 reminds us, "Blessed are all who wait for Him." Waiting is not wasted time, it is a season of preparation, where God is working behind the scenes to align everything according to His will. Resting in God's promises is not just for the big moments in life, it is a daily practice. It is choosing to trust Him in the small, ordinary moments, as well as the significant ones. It is waking up each morning with the assurance that His mercies are new and going to bed each night with the peace that comes from knowing He is in control. This daily reliance on His promises strengthens your faith and deepens your relationship with Him. Finally, resting in God's promises transforms how you view the future. Instead of fearing what lies ahead, you can look forward with hope and confidence, knowing that God's plans for you are good. Jeremiah 29:11 declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This assurance allows you to step into each new day with courage, trusting that God will make a way where there seems to be none. In every season of life, resting in God's promises is a profound act of faith and trust. It is a declaration that you believe in His goodness, His faithfulness, and His power to fulfill all that He has spoken. By choosing to rest in His promises, you align yourself with the truth of His word, experience the peace that surpasses understanding, and walk boldly into the future He has prepared for you. In the journey of life, when the path seems uncertain and obstacles loom large, let this truth resonate deeply within your heart. God will make a way for you. His love is unwavering, His promises are steadfast, and His power knows no limits. Each step of faith you take, each word of life you speak, and each moment of trust you rest in Him draws you closer to the fulfillment of His divine plan. God's ways are higher than ours, and His timing is perfect. Even when you cannot see it, He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances and aligning opportunities for your good. In moments of doubt, remember that He has never failed, and He will not fail you now. Lean into His promises, for they are your anchor in the storm, your guide in the wilderness, and your light in the darkness. So stand firm in faith, speak boldly of His truth, and rest in the assurance of His provision. Let your life be a testament to the miraculous power of a God who always makes a way. As you trust Him, He will lead you into blessings beyond what you could ever ask, think, or imagine. The way may not always be clear, but with God, it will always lead to a place of purpose, peace, and victory.